Welcome to SVG-TV News for Friday, September 26, 2025. I am Rochelle Batiste with the details. Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves used the platform of the 80th session of the United Nations General Assembly to highlight a number of pressing global issues, urging world powers to act in the interests of peace, justice, and respect for international law. Among the key concerns raised was the presence of U.S. military ships near Venezuelan waters. Prime Minister Gonsalves issued a strong appeal to the United States to refrain from such military posturing, stating that it does little to promote peace in the region and is deeply troubling to the peoples of the Caribbean and Latin America.
Ramping up of tensions between the USA and the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela is most unhelpful to peace and stability in our Caribbean and Latin America. St. Vincent and the Grenadines calls for the scaling back of actions and rhetoric which are so inimical to cordial neighborly relations. In particular, we find the foreign militarization of the waters around Venezuela exceedingly troubling.
Dr. Gonsalves encouraged both the United States and Venezuela to engage in constructive dialogue aimed at addressing common challenges such as drug trafficking and transnational crime. He reminded the global body of the long-standing regional agreement that the Caribbean and Latin America are a zone of peace and called on all nations to respect this principle.
The countries of the Caribbean and Latin America have unanimously declared our area is zone of peace. We urge our American friends to abide by this declaration. By all means, let us cooperate in combating drug trafficking and allied transnational criminal activities. But the unilateral militarization is decidedly not the way to go. Also, again, I'm imploring my American and Venezuelan friends to sit down maturely and talk through these problems so that we can have a resolution.
Prime Minister Gonsalves also used his address to call for an immediate end to the violence in Gaza and the West Bank, denouncing what he described as ongoing genocide and oppression being committed against the Palestinian people. Dr. Gonsalves declared that the tragedy unfolding in Palestine must stop.
Centuries for the pain, suffering, and legacies of the current genocide of the Palestinians to be repaired. We in the Caribbean are today demanding justly reparations for native genocide and the enslavement of African bodies, which occurred centuries ago. This tragedy, this madness that has been unfolding unabated in Palestine must stop. Israel's recent expansion of this war against the Palestinian nation in the state of Qatar is unacceptable. We stand in solidarity with Qatar.
The Prime Minister joined a growing number of international voices demanding that Israel end the war on occupation and that the rights of Palestinians be fully recognized and respected. In addition, Prime Minister Gonsalves reiterated his support for Taiwan's participation in the specialized agencies of the United Nations, emphasizing the need for inclusivity and cooperation in global affairs. He also repeated his long-standing call for the United States to end its economic embargo against Cuba, which he described as oppressive and unlawful. In other local news now, we hear that members of the Solidarity Group for Peace staged a peaceful demonstration at the post office car park this week, voicing strong support for Venezuela and calling for an end to foreign interference in the region. The event, which brought together activists, diplomats, and concerned citizens, aimed to raise awareness about the ongoing threats to Venezuela's sovereignty and broader implications for peace and stability in the Caribbean and Latin America. Marlon Joseph, a member of the group, emphasized the long-standing diplomatic and economic relationship between St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Venezuela. He warned that any disruption to peace in Venezuela would have regional consequences, potentially affecting St. Vincent and the Grenadines directly.
Our full solidarity with the people and government of Venezuela, whose right to sovereignty and self-determination is inalienable. The peace of Venezuela, of Latin America and the Caribbean, the sovereignty of our peoples is not negotiable. Each signature that endorses this statement this afternoon is an act of dignity in the face of interference and a collective commitment to life, social justice, and freedom. Because I do not want to just identify Venezuela singularly, not because the military presence is just off their shows, but Venezuela is a part of our region. And if there's no peace within our region, if there's war within our region, the entire Caribbean stand to benefit. Trade routes are going to be disrupted. Our tourism industries, our tourism economies are going to be affected. So we have to stand and advocate for peace.
Also present at the demonstration was Venezuela's ambassador to SVG, Francisco Perez, who delivered strong remarks condemning what he described as continued interference and threats from the United States. Ambassador Perez said all they want is peace, noting that the Venezuelan people deserve the right to self-determination without foreign intervention or coercion.
We have to say that Venezuela, the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela, will stand and denounce again all the activity that the government of Donald Trump is doing in the Caribbean, because it doesn't affect just the Caribbean, just Venezuela, sorry, affect all the Caribbean. So we have to be aware of what is happening in the Caribbean. The three fast boats that they explode there, that they destroy there, with 15 or 17 people, can be from San Vincent or from Grenada or from, so just fishermen that pass in there and they attack and they kill people. So what we say is that we have to stand together, united, and together fighting against the possibility of having Caribbean region and Caribbean Sea as a zone of war. No, Caribbean Sea is a zone of peace. Just we want peace, and our people in Venezuela want peace.
Joining in the show of support was Cuba's ambassador to SVG, Carlos Ernesto Echevarria, who also voiced firm rejection of U.S. military threats towards Venezuela. He said Cuba stands firmly with the president and people of Venezuela.
We are giving full support to the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela. They are not alone in this struggle against imperialism and against the threats from the U.S. So we decided to came and to express our support and our solidarity with President Maduro and to the people of the Bolivarian Republic of Venezuela. You know, we Latin American and the Caribbean, that it's a zone of peace, and it must remain like that. It must be respected as a zone of peace. So is the
Prominent lawyer, political commentator, and social activist Juma Thomas also attended the demonstration. He criticized what he called a smear campaign by the United States, suggesting that when diplomatic pressures fail, the U.S. resorts to undermining sovereign governments. Thomas pointed out that Venezuela has been one of the few countries to offer real support to St. Vincent and Grenadines, support that has amounted to millions of dollars in assistance over the years. He urged more Vincentians to stand in solidarity with Venezuela, reiterating that the relationship between the two nations has historically brought tangible benefits to local communities.
A lot of that money was used to help in the for the development, social and economic development of the society. That's what the Americans did. That example of solidarity and commitment and resolve to use your ingenuity to solve problems. This is why this today is critically important. This is why you have to do more and more of this. You have to take this to the schools, you have to take this to the churches to remind our people that there are some of us in the world who are not here for selfishness, who are not here to become rich, but people that the Cuban leadership, the Cuban people, the Venezuelan leadership, the Venezuelan people, they're there help to push these societies along to bring benefits to the party masses. But so when Trump and all of the others say that President Maduro is a drug dealer or that he's a narco terrorist, that's a smoke screen. Much like the smoke screen that developed against Noriega in 1999. You may recall in 1999 when Bush, the father, was in power, they had had enough of Noriega and they came up this whole thing about Noriega being a drug dealer, and they moved in and killed thousands of Panamanian people. We cannot allow that to happen.
The Solidarity Group announced that it is planning to hold another protest and rally in the coming weeks aimed at increasing public awareness and further mobilizing support for peace and sovereignty in the region. Now we hear that Minister of Education Curtis King has reaffirmed his government's commitment to expanded educational access across the country, declaring that they are taking education to the people during an interview on Star FM earlier this week. Speaking during the segment, Minister King emphasized that technical and vocational education and training TVET will play a central role in this effort. He announced plans to introduce and expand TVET offerings at the secondary school level, allowing students to graduate with Caribbean vocational qualification CVQ certification that are certification that are regionally recognized and designed to enhance employability in various skill professions.
We are expanding the TVET offering.
So you get a TVET program at the secondary school level?
Exactly.
Okay. Right.
And they would be doing certified courses and the NVQs, okay? National Vocation Qualification, and the CVQs, so that graduates would be in a position ultimately to find employment gainfully with others or to create their own business establishment. I mean, this is part of the alignment of our education with our developmental agenda, our trust.
King noted that the initiative is part of a strategic program to bring education closer to citizens, both geographically and in terms of relevance. This includes tailoring programs to meet local economic needs such as tourism, agriculture, and construction.
And this is part of the broader program where we are taking education to our people. And when I say education and training, I'm referring now to the broad ambit of the education. Yes, education and training. So, yes, we are having technical institutes in certain areas, but where we have schools with the capacity to deliver the program, we are working towards ensuring that those schools do deliver such programs.
The Education Minister highlighted that several institutions, including Beckway Community High School and Canon Secondary, have already been upgraded to offer TVET programs. These schools serve not only traditional students, but also adult learners who are returning to education to improve their skills and employment prospects.
To reinforce the point that these schools are not just going to provide the opportunities for the student at school, but we are looking at engagement of the wider community. Because for us, education is lifelong. It's a lifelong exercise, and hence, not because you have graduated from school, we are finding our ways and offering opportunities for you to continue that education. Similarly, the Sinclair Dakin Secondary School, although right now their program, it will take a little bit longer for them to develop the full program, but they have a wonderful building technology program, and they have been doing well in terms of their own food preparation program. So you see how we are working to transform St. Vincent and the Grenadines.
King underscored that the government's efforts reflect a deliberate push to ensure equity in education, ensuring that all Vincentians, regardless of age, location, or socio-economic background, have access to the tools and training needed to improve their livelihoods and contribute meaningful to national development. And the West St. George Secondary School has received over 60,000 EC dollars worth of equipment to outfit its food preparation laboratory, thanks to a generous donation from the Mustique Charitable Trust. During the official handing over ceremony held yesterday, Natalia Gill, a representative of the organization, emphasized the importance of the donation in equipping students with vital life and career skills. She said the initiative enables students to gain the practical skills necessary for both personal development and future employment, noting that it is about empowerment and preparing young people to succeed. The newly equipped lab is expected to encourage greater student participation in home economics and food processing, providing hands-on experience with industry-relevant tools and equipment.
The initiative is not simply about providing new appliances for the lab, but as Mrs. K. Martin Jack said, it is about investing in the future of our young people, and by extension, the future of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. In small island states like ours, technical and vocational education and training plays a critical role in building resilience and creating opportunities for our youth, as they can gain the skills to thrive both at home and abroad. Too often, vocational training is seen as a second option, when in reality, it is the pathway to empowerment, entrepreneurship, and gaining your own employment. By introducing TVET at the secondary school level, we are ensuring that students are not only receiving an academic education, but are also gaining practical, hands-on skills that can be turned immediately or applied immediately in the workforce, or used as foundation for further training at the various technical institutes.
Minister of Education and Area Representative Curtis King, who previously taught at the school, commended the initiative, noting that both teachers and students continue to benefit from timely support, not only from the government but also from organizations like the Mustique Charitable Trust. Minister King urged students to make the most of the training and skills being provided, as these are critical for preparing them for the world of work.
We are saying, in this changing world, you're not going to find it that we are saying, in this changing world, you're not going to find it so easy to stay in one job for so long. It means, therefore, you have to be agile. You have to have the training. You have to have the capacity to make adjustments. So that if you're in a career that for some reason is not providing you with the goals or providing you with the opportunities to achieve the goals you set yourself, you must be in a position to make the adjustment to find a different career. And that is what I'm talking about.
With the food preparation lab now fully furnished and equipped, the school is poised to offer Caribbean vocational qualification in commercial food preparation, a significant milestone in its educational development. Chief Education Officer K. Martin Jack described the investment as a major step forward in enhancing the school's curriculum and vocational training capacity.
More significantly, they will enable the school to broaden its offerings by introducing home economics with a focus on family resource management. This means that more of our students will now be exposed to the vital areas of food, nutrition, and health, while also gaining practical life skills that prepare them for productive citizenship. Looking ahead, we are excited by the possibilities. With this foundation, West St. George Secondary will be in a strong position to offer Caribbean vocational qualification, or what we call CVQs, in commercial food preparation and agro-processing. These qualifications open pathways to employment, entrepreneurship, and further studies, and they align perfectly with our national vision of developing a skilled, adaptable workforce.
The initiative forms part of the Ministry of Education's broader push to expand technical and vocational education and training TVET programs across secondary schools in St. Vincent and the Grenadines, aimed at improving youth employability and community development. In other local news now, we hear that Dr. Kishore Shalu, the New Democratic Party NDP candidate for North Leeward in the upcoming general elections, delivered a scathing critique of the government's performance during a public meeting in Chumuka last night. Addressing a crowd of supporters and residents, Dr. Shalu declared that no positive sign of growth can be seen over the past 25 years, arguing that the country has stagnated under the current administration. According to Shalu, the country is heading in the wrong direction as too many Vincentians are still unemployed or stuck in low-paying jobs, with families struggling just to survive.
You have a government for a quarter of a century, 25 years. 25 years in office, which in itself is unhealthy. But when no positive sign of growth coming to you and asking you to give them a sixth term. Now, is something wrong with these people? Yeah? Now, I was not the one because I didn't participate in the study. So, I am going based on what the people are saying when significant majority clearly stated that we are heading in the wrong direction. But all of us, whether we participated in that study or not, we know that the failings of the ULP, they are clear as day. They are there for all of us to see. We don't even need to look far. High unemployment. People, even they walking, they can't even second bills at the end of the month because of the low pay jobs.
Dr. Shalu pointed to key sectors such as sports and healthcare, areas that he said were repeatedly promised attention and investment, but which in his view have seen little to no tangible progress.
There's been no real progress of sports under this ULP administration over the last 25 years. And if we go forward and look at agriculture, my other colleagues have spoken about it, Israel and the others. Hey, brother Aaron as well. Nothing to shout about, nothing to celebrate in agriculture. You look at the healthcare system, is in a state, a critical state, can't even get pharmaceuticals. The crime rate continues to increase. And we could go on and on. We could talk about the struggling economy. And we could also talk about the continued increase of the poverty rate in our country. And listen, I don't in any way celebrate this, and I keep repeating that. But the truth is important to be told, and so you will hear it from myself, along with my colleagues, these failings of the Unity Labour Party.
He further criticized what he described as a growing disconnect between the country's leaders and the average citizen, stating that those in power have become out of touch with the everyday struggles of Vincentians.
Not one of them. Not a day in opposition. Now what that means is that they cannot relate to the challenges you face. Because they come in from wherever they come from and start to live this lavish lifestyle. It's almost like they born with gold spoon in their mouth. So, I don't expect them to understand when you tell them you can't pay your bills. Or when you tell them that you can't send your child to school. Or when you can't afford to buy medication for you and your children. They simply cannot understand why is it you come complaining to them from time and time and time again, because of the fact that they have reduced us to a place of dependency where we have to continue to come and request from them. And I tell you what, it is clearly a case of neglect from this administration for the past 25 years why we are where we are and we are left behind. And that is a fact.
The NDP candidate assured the residents of North Leeward that if elected, he will focus on delivering real opportunities and meaningful change.